At 3:17 Galactic Standard Time, every communication station within 6 light-years of Earth received the same message. It contained only 3 words. "We remember you." No one knew who had sent it. The message was not encrypted. It did not need to be. The transmission carried a signature that frightened the scientists who analyzed it. Not because it was powerful, but because it was old. Older than the first human colony. Older than Earth's first radio transmission. Older, according to the initial estimates, than humanity's existence as a spacefaring civilization. Admiral Cale Vare stared at the message projected across the command chamber of the Varkun flagship Sovereign Dawn. Around him stood 12 senior officers from 6 different species. None spoke. Finally, Commander Threx broke the silence. "Earth is responsible." Cale slowly turned. "Earth has been under observation for 83 years. "Exactly. Then explain how they sent a signal using technology they do not possess." Threx had no answer. The Varkan Empire had watched humanity since the first human expedition crossed the moon's orbit. At first, the humans seemed insignificant. Their ships were primitive. Their weapons were outdated. Their political divisions were embarrassing. The Varkan had conquered civilizations with stronger fleets than Earth possessed. Humanity should have been easy. But something had always been wrong. Every time the Varkun pushed humanity, humans adapted. When their orbital defenses were destroyed, they built underground launch systems. When their communications were jammed, they used physical couriers. When their satellites were eliminated, they developed primitive laser relays. When their cities were attacked, they evacuated civilians and rebuilt. The Varkan Intelligence Bureau had classified humanity as a persistent low-level military species. That classification was about to change. "Bring me the human ambassador," Cale ordered. A security officer hesitated. "Admiral, there is no human ambassador aboard." "Then contact Earth." "We have." And the officer swallowed. No response. Cale's expression hardened. "Again, we already transmitted 17 requests." Again, the officer obeyed. Nothing. No signal. No distortion. No interference. Just silence. Then every light in the command chamber went dark. A second later, emergency lighting activated. The communications display changed by itself. The words were different this time. "You should have left US alone." Threx stepped backward. "Impossible." Cale looked toward the tactical officer. "Was that transmitted from Earth?" The officer shook his head. "Sir, it came from inside this ship." The room froze. "Trace it." "We're trying." "Trace it." The tactical officer's hands moved rapidly across the console. Then he stopped. His face became pale. "Admiral." "What?" "The signal originated from Deck 9. Cale immediately reached for his sidearm. Deck 9 contained the ship's central archive. No crew member was stationed there. The flagship had been designed with 17 layers of security. Nothing could enter the archive without authorization. Cale ordered 30 armed soldiers to accompany him. As they descended through the ship, something strange happened. The corridor lights began switching off one by one behind them. Not randomly, in sequence, like something was following them. The soldiers raised their weapons. "Stay together," Cale whispered. They reached the archive door. It was open. That was impossible. Cale approached slowly. Inside, the archive terminals were active. Hundreds of screens displayed the same image. Earth, but not modern Earth. The image showed a battlefield. Smoke covered the sky. Thousands of human soldiers stood beneath a dark red sun. Behind them was a broken city, and above them hovered Varkan ships. Threx stared at the screen. This battle never happened. Cale stepped closer. "How do you know?" "Because those ships are from the 4th Imperial Fleet." "When?" 312 years ago. Cale's eyes narrowed. The 4th Fleet disappeared. Threx looked at him. "Exactly." A sound came from behind them. A single metallic click. Every soldier turned. Nothing. Then one of the screens changed. A human face appeared. An old man. He wore a military uniform Cale had never seen before. The man's face was covered in scars. He looked directly into the camera. Then he spoke. "If you're seeing this, they found you." The translation system activated automatically. "Who are you?" Cale demanded. The recording continued. "My name is Commander Elias Ward." Threx whispered, "Human." Ward looked exhausted. "We knew they would return." Kale stepped closer. "Who?" Ward's expression changed. For the first time, the alien officers saw something that frightened them more than anger. Fear. "Not who," Ward said. "What?" The screen flickered. "The Varkin are not the first species to attack Earth." The recording ended. Silence returned. Then the archive doors slammed shut. The soldiers opened fire at the darkness beyond them. Nothing was there. Kale turned toward Threx. "Find everything about Elias Ward." Threx hesitated. "Admiral." "What?" "The archive is deleting itself." "What?" Every screen went black. Then one final message appeared. "They are already here." Kale felt his blood run cold. Because at that exact moment, the ship's long-range sensors detected something approaching from the direction of Earth. One object. No engines. No heat signature. No weapons. It simply appeared in space. And when the tactical computer finally identified it, every officer in the room stopped breathing. The object was human, but humanity had never built anything like it. And the Varkan Empire had no idea that the object had not come to attack them. It had come to warn them, because something much worse was coming. The object remained motionless for 9 minutes. The Sovereign Dawn surrounded it with 12 attack ships. No response, no weapons, no communication, just silence. Admiral Kale ordered a scanning pulse. The results made no sense. The object appeared to be approximately 6 meters long, constructed from an unknown material, and completely hollow. No engine, no reactor, no biological life. Yet it was transmitting, not through radio, not through laser, through the ship's own computers. Every terminal suddenly displayed the same sentence. "Do not open the door." Kale stared at it. "Which door?" The answer appeared immediately. "Yours." A vibration moved through the ship. The soldiers looked at each other. Something had struck the hull. Then another impact. Then another. 3, 5, 10. The entire vessel began shaking. "Shields!" The tactical officer shouted. "Shields are active. Enemy. Nothing on sensors." Kale looked toward the viewport. Outside, space was empty. Then one of the soldiers screamed. He pointed toward the corridor. A thin black line had appeared across the metal wall. It moved slowly, like a crack, but the wall was not breaking. Something was moving inside it. Kale ordered everyone back. The line stopped. A hand emerged. Not human, not Varkan. It was long, pale, and covered in translucent skin. The soldiers opened fire. Energy bolts struck the creature. It disappeared. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then every weapon in the room powered down. Not jammed, disabled. The soldiers stared at their rifles. Kale whispered, "What did it do?" A voice answered from the ceiling. "Nothing." Everyone looked up. The voice continued. "Humans did." The ceiling opened. A human woman dropped into the corridor. She landed hard, rolled, and immediately raised a weapon. She wore a black combat suit. Her face was bruised. Blood covered one side of her forehead. Kale aimed his pistol. "Identify yourself." The woman looked at him. "Captain Mara Voss." "How did you board my ship?" She glanced toward the wall. "I didn't." Kale frowned. "Then how?" "The ship came to me." Threx stepped forward. "What does that mean?" Mara ignored him. "Where is the object?" Kale pointed toward the viewport. Mara's face changed. "You brought aboard?" "It arrived by itself." "No." She shook her head. "That's not a ship." "What is it?" "A prison." Silence. Mara looked around. "You need to listen carefully. You have approximately 18 minutes. Until what?" She checked the device on her wrist. "Until they wake up." Kale's patience disappeared. "Who are they?" Mara looked directly into his eyes. "The reason humanity stopped broadcasting into deep space." The room became silent. Mara explained that humanity had discovered something beneath the Pacific Ocean in 2091. Not a machine, not an alien spacecraft. A structure buried beneath the Earth's crust. It had been there for millions of years. Inside were thousands of dormant organisms. Human scientists had called them the architects. They were not the strongest species in the galaxy. They did not possess the largest ships. They did not use the most advanced weapons. They did not conquer worlds. They did something much more frightening. They learned They watched. They copied. Every civilization that encountered them eventually disappeared. Humanity had discovered their weakness. The creatures could adapt to any weapon. Energy weapons, kinetic weapons, radiation, biological attacks, gravity manipulation. Nothing worked twice. But humans had noticed something else. The creatures became stronger when attacked. So humanity did something no empire had ever considered. They stopped fighting. They stopped transmitting. They stopped exploring. They shut down their deep space colonies. They destroyed their own long-range communication arrays. They erased navigational records. And they waited. Mara looked at Kale. Your empire found us. Kale's jaw tightened. We came because your world is strategically valuable. I know. And you expect me to believe humans survived by hiding? No. Mara looked toward the strange object outside. We survived by becoming unpredictable. The lights flickered. Mara's wrist device began beeping. How much time? 11 minutes. Kale turned to his tactical officer. Destroy the object. Mara grabbed his arm. Don't. Why? Because it's not the enemy. The tactical officer interrupted. Admiral, a massive energy pulse appeared on the sensors. Not from outside. From Earth. Kale's eyes widened. Earth? The tactical display showed thousands of signals emerging from the planet. Then millions. Then billions. Mara whispered. They're awake. The Varkan fleet immediately opened fire toward Earth. Hundreds of weapons launched. Mara watched in horror. You don't understand. Kale shouted, fire. The first missiles entered Earth's atmosphere. Nothing happened. Then the planet disappeared. Not exploded. Not destroyed. It simply vanished from every sensor. Kale stared at the screen. What happened? Mara answered quietly. Humanity activated the last defense. Frex looked at her. What defense? Mara smiled bitterly. The one they were afraid to use. Suddenly, the strange object outside the ship opened. A circular black field appeared. Something emerged. A human soldier. Then another. Then hundreds. They stood in space without suits. Without ships. Without oxygen. Without fear. Every Varkan weapon automatically targeted them. Mara looked at Kale. Now you'll understand. The human soldiers raised their rifles. Kale prepared to give the order. Then every human weapon fired. But not at the Varkan. They fired toward the empty darkness behind the fleet. The Varkan sensors detected nothing. Then the darkness moved. Something enormous emerged. It was larger than a planet. The soldiers stopped firing. The Varkan fleet went silent. Mara whispered, They found us. The thing opened an eye, and every star around them went dark. The Varkan fleet had fought thousands of battles. They had seen planets destroyed. They had watched stars collapse. They had witnessed weapons capable of tearing holes through reality. But nothing prepared them for silence. The enormous creature floated beyond the fleet. It had no visible machinery, no recognizable anatomy. Its surface moved like an ocean beneath glass. Then its eye opened. Every Varkan ship lost power. Every computer shut down. Every weapon became useless. Kale stood motionless. For the first time in his career, he understood what helplessness felt like. Mara walked toward the command window. Do not attack. Kale looked at her. Why? Because that's what it wants. The creature moved closer. Thousands of human soldiers appeared around the fleet. They were not attacking. They simply watched. The Varkan officers were confused. What are they waiting for? Frex asked. Mara answered. For you to make a mistake. Kale ordered all weapons disabled. The creature stopped. 1 second passed. 2. 5. Then it spoke. Not through sound. Every mind on every ship heard the same voice. You are human. Kale looked at Mara. She nodded. Yes. You have changed. Mara replied. We had to. You were weak. We were. You were afraid. We still are. The creature paused. Then why did you return? Mara looked at the Varkan fleet. We didn't. Kale understood. The human soldiers had not returned to fight. They had come because the Varkan had awakened something. The creature turned toward the fleet. You brought me food. The Varkan officers panicked. Kale shouted, Retreat. The fleet attempted to jump. Nothing happened. Navigation systems were dead. The creature had trapped them. Mara turned toward Kale. You have one chance. What chance? Give me your fleet. Kale stared at her. You expect me to surrender? I expect you to survive. The creature moved closer. Ships began disappearing. Not exploding. Not burning. They were simply erased. One after another. Kale watched thousands of Varkun's soldiers vanish. His empire had never known defeat. Now entire battalions were disappearing in seconds. He made his decision. All ships. His voice shook. Stand down. Weapons powered down. The creature stopped. Mara stepped forward. We will give you something. The creature's eye narrowed. What? Mara removed a small device from her belt. She placed it against the floor. A hologram appeared. It showed Earth, then Mars, then dozens of human colonies, then something unexpected. Varkan worlds. The creature stared. Mara said, We mapped every civilization you destroyed. The hologram expanded. Thousands of worlds appeared. Every war, every species, every weapon. The creature watched. We studied you. The Varkan officers looked at Mara in disbelief. She continued. We knew one day you would come. Kale whispered, How long? Mara looked at him. 43 years. The Varkan officers froze. Humanity had known. For 43 years, Earth had prepared. Not by building a larger fleet. Not by developing a stronger weapon. By studying everyone. Mara activated another file. Images appeared. Varkan weapons. Varkan tactics. Varkan psychology. Varkan military history. The creature watched. Then Mara revealed the final image. A human child sitting beside a campfire. The child was reading a book. The title was, How to Survive the End of the World. The creature asked, Why? Mara answered, Because humans don't need to be stronger than you. She looked toward the creature. We only need to survive long enough to understand you. The creature became silent. Then something impossible happened. It moved backward. For the first time, the Varkan saw it retreat. Kale stared. Why is it afraid? Mara shook her head. It's not. Then why? Mara looked at the human soldiers surrounding them. Because it finally realized what we are. Kale waited. Mara said, Humans aren't the weapon. The creature's eye closed. Mara continued. Humans are the species that keeps inventing weapons after everyone else thinks the war is over. The creature suddenly screamed. The sound shattered several ships. Human soldiers fell. Mara remained standing. Kale grabbed her. What is happening? Now. Now what? Run. Human ships appeared from nowhere. Hundreds. Then thousands. They surrounded the Varkan fleet. But they did not fire. Instead, every human ship transmitted the same message. We remember you. Kale finally understood the original signal. It had never been a threat. It was a warning. Humanity had not been warning the Varkan that humans remembered them. They had been warning the creature. The creature began retreating into darkness. Kale stared at Mara. What happens now? Mara looked toward Earth. Now we make sure it never wakes again. And the Varkan? She looked at him. That depends on what you do next. Kale understood the choice. His empire could continue conquering, or it could survive. He opened the fleet-wide channel. All Varkan forces. Every soldier listened. Return home. The order shocked everyone. Then Kale added, Tell the Emperor we were wrong about humanity. A pause. Tell him humans are not weak. Mara watched the Varkan fleet prepare to retreat. Then she looked at the darkness. The creature was gone, but something remained. A final signal appeared on every human console. Only one word. Run. Mara's expression changed, because the message had not come from the creature. It had come from Earth. Mara reached the human command ship less than 2 minutes later. The moment she entered the bridge, everyone was standing. Nobody spoke. The commander of the fleet, General Elias Ward, waited beside the central display. Mara stared at him. You sent the warning. Ward nodded. How long? 3 minutes. Until what? Ward looked at the screen. Until the second wave. Mara felt the blood drain from her face. The creature wasn't alone. No. The main display activated. Beyond the edge of known space, thousands of enormous objects were appearing. 1, 10, 100, then thousands. The human fleet became silent. Mara whispered, How many? Ward answered, We don't know. The radar kept counting. 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. Then the system stopped calculating. The number was too large. Mara looked at Ward. They're coming. Ward nodded. And we're not ready. Mara looked around the bridge. Then why are we still standing? Ward smiled. Because that's what humans do. He turned toward the fleet. Every ship, execute Protocol 0. The officers froze. One asked, Sir, are you certain? Ward nodded. Do it. Across the fleet, thousands of human ships changed formation. They stopped acting like a conventional military. They scattered. Some ships moved toward empty space. Others approached stars. Some disappeared into asteroid fields. Others began transmitting false signals. The entire fleet became chaos. But it wasn't random. It was calculated. Humanity was doing what it had always done. Adapting. The first alien fleet arrived. Millions of ships entered the system. The Varkun watched from a safe distance. Kale had stayed behind. He had ignored the Emperor's order to retreat. He wanted to see what humans would do. He expected a battle. Instead, Earth sent one transmission. Come closer. The alien fleet accepted. Millions of weapons charged. Then the stars went dark. Humanity had activated Protocol 0. Every human ship disappeared. The alien fleet scanned the region. Nothing. No ships. No signals. No life. The aliens began celebrating. They believed humanity had fled. Then one alien commander noticed something. Where is Earth? The planet was gone. Not destroyed. Moved. Humanity had relocated its entire civilization through a network of artificial wormholes built beneath the planet over decades. Earth had never been their final fortress. It had been bait. The alien fleet moved toward the coordinates. And enter the trap. The wormhole collapsed behind them. They were stranded in a region of space with no stars. No planets. No energy sources. Nothing. Then human ships appeared. Thousands. Not attacking. Watching. The alien commander transmitted. Why? Ward answered. Because we don't want to kill you. The alien laughed. You cannot defeat us. Ward nodded. Maybe. He looked toward Mara. She understood. The real weapon was not the fleet. It was information. Humanity had spent decades learning the aliens' biology, communication systems, navigation, psychology, and weaknesses. They knew how their ships were powered. They knew what their soldiers feared. They knew which frequencies their nervous systems could detect. They knew what happened when their fleets lost communication. And they knew something else. The aliens could adapt to weapons. But they could not adapt to uncertainty. Humans began broadcasting thousands of contradictory signals. False fleets. False planets. False attacks. False retreats. False victories. The alien network collapsed into confusion. Ships began firing at each other. Commanders lost contact. Soldiers received conflicting orders. The greatest alien military force in the galaxy destroyed itself without humanity firing a single weapon. Kale watched from the Varkan flagship. He finally understood. The aliens had spent thousands of years perfecting weapons. Humans had perfected something else. Survival. A final transmission appeared across every alien communication channel. Mara's voice. You asked why aliens fear humans more than any weapon. She paused. Because weapons can be understood. Images appeared. Human cities. Human families. Human soldiers. Human children. Human scientists. Human explorers. Then the battlefield. You can destroy our ships. The image changed. You can destroy our cities. Another. You can destroy our weapons. Another. You can even destroy our planet. Mara's voice became quieter. But you cannot destroy the thing that makes us human. The final image showed a small child holding the hand of a soldier. We learn. The alien fleet remained silent. Mara continued. We remember. Kale looked at his officers. And when someone threatens our survival, the transmission ended with 3 words. We adapt. Years later, the Varkan Empire would rewrite its history. The invasion of Earth would be removed from military textbooks. The truth would be classified. But one sentence survived. It was written by Admiral Kale Vare himself before he resigned from the Imperial fleet. He wrote, We believed humanity was dangerous because of its weapons. We were wrong. Weapons were never what frightened us. It was the human ability to stand among ruins, study what destroyed them, and quietly begin building something that could never be destroyed the same way twice. Humanity did not become the strongest species in the galaxy. It did not conquer the stars. It did not build the largest empire. Instead, humans became something far more dangerous. They became impossible to predict. And from that day forward, whenever an alien civilization detected a human transmission in deep space, its first response was never to attack. It was to retreat. Because every species eventually learned the same lesson. A weapon can destroy a human. An army can destroy a city. A fleet can destroy a world. But if even one human survives, the war is not over. It has only taught humanity what to build next. And somewhere beyond the edge of the galaxy, something ancient was still watching. It had seen humanity survive before. It had seen them adapt. It had seen them win. But now it was afraid. Because for the first time in millions of years, humanity had seen it too.